All right, welcome, Weekend Warriors, to a special edition of the pod. I have our newest member, Chris Booty, on the podcast. Let's give a round of applause. Booty, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know, unfortunately, Booty couldn't make the draft. Now you can see him in person, listen to some of his insight here. So, want to get some takes from you. Listen, 2-1, came out of the gate 2-0, couple points away from undefeated. Thank God I beat you after you beat me twice in baseball. That was mean. So I had to get you back, at least in football, to start. But you have a good squad. You're middle of the pack in points for, which, is fine. You're not at the bottom, not at the top. So what do you think of the team so far, and how do you think you're faring in the league in your debut?
I'm pleased with where I'm at, 2-1. Not terrible, kind of above average. Didn't expect to have our game be close. Kind of Monday night magic from McLaurin kind of made it interesting. Um, Overall, my team is okay, I'd say. Not getting enough at the quarterback position, and was hoping to have an advantage on everybody at tight end, and Laporta hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm short of running back with Kenneth Walker, having not played besides
Yeah.
week one. He was awesome week one. I feel like just having him back, I think I would be pretty happy with where my team's at. I could get by with the Richardson struggles and maybe Laporta not being as top end as I wanted.
Yeah, Laporta, huge season last year, but then at least the only thing is all the tight ends suck. So it's not
Yeah,
like anybody who picked Kelsey, Andrews,
yeah,
nobody's putting up points. So at least you're
yeah,
not really losing out at the position. But and kind of quarterbacks kind of similar. Like I wasn't a
yeah,
big Anthony Richardson fan, but quarterback scoring is down across the
yeah.
entire league. So the only thing is, obviously, your running back two is a glaring hole, but you will get Walker back at some point, which is helpful. Uh,
Yeah.
I have Javante and Rico Dowdle in my other league, and I see you have Rico in right now. What's help me, man? What's the thought process there? Do you think he's a better player? You're just sick of Javante? Because I sure am.
Yes, I think he's a better play. Although I'm in a bind, I really don't want to have to play Daddle, but Walker's on Monday, so I probably have to play him and
Yeah,
can't bank on Walker being back.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I feel like Dowdle's due. I feel like McCarthy's got to be on the hot seat. Zeke's too old. They got to go with their best running back, and I feel like it's Dowdle.
I
So
agree. I'm in a similar position. I have Mixon in my other league, so I'm like, do I wait for Mixon or do I just throw Rico in Thursday night?
mhm.
Or Javante's my break glass in case of emergency option. That's not a good option. So,
Yeah,
but one thing I got to ask you because I thought you picked him a little early, but it was a smart pick, Rashee Rice. So I have Rashee Rice in my dynasty league. I traded for him in the offseason, hoping he didn't get suspended. And I
yeah,
had him as a target in every draft because of he was buried. He was buried.
yeah.
So coming that I don't remember the exact round. I probably should, but I remember you picked about the middle of the draft and you picked him in that middle of the round, and I was going to take him at the end. So that was one thing that was clearly a strategy for you.
Yes, 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 yes. I was very much not risk averse with my draft. I feel like I went with a lot of guys with high upside. Obviously, him. I mean, there was a floor of he could be suspended, but I wasn't too concerned. Usually, those things take over a year to play out, so I feel like it's safe this year. Also, Harrison, another risk so far paid off. I think. Um, Taking him in the second round. Been happy. Obviously, week one wasn't great, but since then, kind of enough noise that you have around them that you need to get him the ball, and Kyler started to get him the ball.
Yeah.
So
I have him in two of my other leagues too, and I was not panicked after week one. I think that's the biggest thing. You can't panic, but
yeah,
like if there's a couple weeks go by,
yeah,
the fantasy football season, dude, is short. Like
yeah,
baseball, your guy can have a bad month and then like it's fine. But in
yeah,
football, dude, if you're that's more than a quarter of the season in fantasy
yeah,
if he has a bad month. So.
yeah.
But and same thing with Terry. I got to tell you, McLaurin, I was very, very worried. And then maybe Jaden, maybe they found something. He's finally throwing it downfield. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
love them the big plays. I kind of hope they can get a more volume as well, not just the big plays. Um, we'll see.
All right, so we kind of talked a little bit about how we got here, but now you're playing Terry. And there's one thing man, Terry is always good in fantasy. I pick against him in this podcast. I don't know why, but he's 3-0 again. I will say, looking at his team, I don't think he has the best team, but he's got a good team, clearly. And he
Yeah.
has, he's 3-0 with AJ Brown, been out. So, I mean, you looked at the matchup. Tell me what you think about his team and tell me what you think about this week.
Say with Red Rifle now being the Carolina Panthers quarterback, Deontay Johnson looks like a steal.
Yeah.
His other receivers he has in right now, Waddle, with their quarterback situation, not scared there. Amari Cooper, they are going against Vegas, but not super scared there either. Feel like I have the advantage at wide receiver overall. Um, Quarterback Hurts, he's my guy. He's got the advantage there, regardless of who I throw, whatever guy I throw in there. Um, I feel like Hurts is on the upswing. Turnovers have been an issue, but week two, he looked very good. It was the interception at the end. That was kind of desperation mode. I thought that was one of his best games he's played in a while.
Yeah.
And week three, he was a couple turnovers again, but I think he's trending up. So I'm scared there. His kicker, Aubrey, he's so good.
He is
Uh,
so good.
I can't believe, like, completely out of nowhere, like, was kicking like spring league ball. Turns out
Yeah.
to be a hidden gem.
He was a
Uh,
soccer player, right? Is that
yeah,
true?
yeah, yeah, soccer player.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe, and then turned out to be. I mean, he's good from over 50 every time.
I picked him up in my dynasty league. I've never looked back. I'm never
Yeah,
cutting him. I'm never doing anything. And Justin Tucker and him played each other last week, and Tucker's been missing kicks, and
yeah.
Aubrey kicked the 65-yard
I
field goal.
think I
So
think Tucker's on the decline. I mean, he'll still go down as he's got the record for longest field goal.
yeah,
He'll still go down as one of the best, but I don't know that he is the best anymore
no,
in the league.
I would agree.
Um, and for me, obviously, running back two is going to probably dictate how this goes for me, I would
Yeah,
say overall.
yeah. I mean, he's got. I mean, I'm going to give my pick here in a little bit. I'm not going to give the cat out of the bag here, but I mean, Taylor kind of got it together, but he's playing Pittsburgh. I know you're saying good things about Hurts. I like Hurts, but if you don't have Smith and Brown, man, that's going to be trouble.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have to run to score some points. So I would say I think between that and Kittle being banged up, you might be catching him on a good week here, even
yeah.
though you're not at full strength either. But man, this is the last week before buys, so
I
no
know
one's
that's
going to
the
be at full
thing.
strength pretty
Yeah.
soon. Uh,
You were asking me how I feel about my team. If I can get through even through September, 2-2, and then you hit the buys, and you might catch somebody on a good week. You can steal some wins that way. Like I'm feeling good about as long as a good September. There's going to be highs and lows for everybody over the
yeah,
buys. So
yeah. So you participated in this league before, but I think the most important thing is a lot of leagues, which look, there's pluses and minuses, but I think a lot of leagues you can sneak in with maybe even a game below 500 or maybe a
mhm.
game above 500 and then make noise in the playoffs and like a 12
Yeah,
team with six teams making it. But this
yeah,
one, man, if you start out 1-4 or
yeah,
0-5 or whatever it is, that's why when I was foreshadowing Brett and like Otley, he's third in the league in points. He's 0-3. Like he has to win. And of course, he
yeah,
plays me this week. So, I'm going to do my best to make sure he doesn't win. But it's important to win early
yeah.
for sure. So,
Other thing I've noticed is I don't feel like anyone's consistently been a high scorer. We're seeing a lot of teams pop off as one week, but then like Brett just had a huge week, but his team had struggled the first couple of weeks. So I feel like I'm seeing a lot of that. No one is kind of standing out head and toe above everybody else, like running
yep.
away from the pack.
It's a good point about Brett because he texted me and he was obviously in last with the least amount of points. He has one good week and now he's like
He,
in fifth.
he
And
shot
he's
past me, I think, in points.
Yeah,
Or
so it
close.
happens quick. It does
Yeah.
happen quick. I have to put this fun fact out there that Brett Brett shared with me. He said collectively through 3 weeks, he has 1.5 points from his tight end position. So first week he had Ingram in, he got 0.5. Second week was the whole Ingram late scratch
Yeah,
thing, got 0. Last week picks up Hunter Henry, gets 1. So I told him he's doubling it, from
yeah.
week to week almost. But all right, so I'm gonna give my picks here in a second, and I'm gonna throw out some NFL picks too. But did you come prepared at least with any NFL picks that you want to throw out there,
Uh,
as kind of the for special guest picks? I like to ask. You
I've
know,
got two. One for tomorrow night, kind of maybe stealing your Thursday thunder. And this is kind
that's
of
okay.
not a homer pick because it's a Cowboy, but I like Dowdle on the over for rushing plus receiving yards. I think it's 54 and a half. He's
Okay,
hit
I'm
that
writing
the
that
last
down
two
right
weeks.
now.
Um, and I think he'll hit it again. I think the Giants aren't that good. The Cowboys haven't looked great, so it's a must win for them almost. I think he might be the guy to get the ball into his hands, obviously, and also CD Lamb. I don't have any CD Lamb plays, but I got to imagine he's due for a big game too. Maybe the holdout situations kind of held him back, but now we're gonna be in week 4, so he could go off as well.
And the Giants suck, and the Cowboys are
Yeah,
desperate. If the Cowboys lose this game, it's like that's it. I feel like.
yeah. I feel like they won't make a coaching change in season. I think, but if I was running the franchise, if they lose this week, I might move on from McCarthy right then
I
and
hear
there.
you. I hear you. All right, so that's one pick. Dowdle over. What was the other pick?
Yep. This is a total homer pick, but I think the Eagles are -1.5. Lay that 1.5. Take the Eagles.
Okay.
Uh, I think they're trending up.
So they lost to Tampa last year in the playoffs, but obviously that was a hold. That throw
Different,
that.
different, different team, different
Yeah,
coaching. Yeah, I mean
yeah.
the defense looked bad the first 2 weeks, although has been good in the red zone the whole season, I would say. And I think Fangio, great addition. I think they'll figure out the defensive side of the ball. Last week they
Tampa's
looked,
a mixed bag though, dude. They
yeah,
come out and they beat the Lions and then they lose to Denver at home. So like
yeah,
I feel like that's the only thing that I would say. I don't hate the pick. I just that
yeah.
Tampa can look really bad or they can look really good. So it'll be
That's
interesting.
another team that needs to switch their running back situation and get the ball in Bucky Irving's hands rather than Rashad White.
Rashad White's a very inefficient runner. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why I didn't draft him this year. And sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes I just stick with him. But in this
Yeah.
case, I think Bucky is going to take over. So, all right. So I'm going to give my picks real quick. I'm not going to go on my long dissertation like I normally do, since obviously we had a different type of episode this time. But my pick tomorrow night. Now, listen, self dub Thursday Night King. I give it out, but I am 3-0. So I got to get a little pat on the back. My other picks kind of suck. I'm 4-2 on the season in my picks. And tomorrow night, I'm taking under 45.5 is my official pick. I think that Dallas needs to win. They're desperate, but I feel like it's a game that the Cowboy or the Giants can keep close. I know you're going against Aubrey, but I could see him like kicking a bunch of field goals, and I could see like
Sure.
Dallas winning like I don't know 23 to 17 or 18 or 20, and then Dallas wins, but they don't cover, and I get mad. So and then I feel like it is an over. I have Malik Neighbors. I love Malik Neighbors, and I hope he scores 3 touchdowns. I just feel like it's going to be an under game. I think Dallas's
Yeah.
defense gets it together, and I just haven't seen enough from their offense yet to think that they're totally clicking. So that's
Yeah.
my pick. And then my other pick, maybe a surprise pick, but the line is indicative to me. It's Miami money line on Monday Night Football. They're playing Tennessee in Miami. And it's
Hmm.
kind of like sometimes the saying is the devil you know is not as bad as the devil you do know, whatever it
Yeah.
is. I know Levis sucks. So
Yeah.
if they play Tyler Huntley, I think that's an upgrade from Skylar Thompson or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think Miami's defense gets it done against Levis. So I'm taking them.
Sometimes you get that bump from the backup quarterback who you're not expecting anything from. Like he just, whatever reason, team will rally around him. So maybe there is something there.
It's just funny though, like this guy like Huntley, who's not on the team, right? They have Thompson and Boyle as their backups. Like, why didn't you have Huntley on the roster to begin with? I guess
Yeah.
maybe money's involved, who knows?
Yeah.
But it just seems odd. Same
Yeah.
thing with when they were saying, "Oh, go sign Tannehill." They could have signed Tannehill before. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird.
I mean, he seems to be happy with the money he's already made, and it's
True.
I want to be the starter, and I want it to be a playoff team, and then I'll come back. Which
Yeah,
now Miami might be a good fit for him. Uh, but if it's two is not out for the season, then two is going to take that spot back.
he'll be back. We'll see how
Yeah,
good of a coach Mike McDaniel really is. I mean,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna have to really kind of bide his time with these backups to
yeah, yeah,
tread
yeah.
water, I guess.
I
So
gotta give him credit though, because he's really turned Tua around. It looked like Tua might be a flame out, and he was, atop the league last year in passing yards
yeah,
for a while. So
he can coach an offense, I'll tell you that.
yeah,
All right, my other picks, real quick. I'm going, and I'm not going to give too much detail on this. I pick Kevin to lose every week, and he's 2-1. But I am taking Brett. I think that the Bengals got their swagger back. They're playing the Panthers. He's got Chase and Burrow. I'm going there. My brother, I've been picking him. He's 1-2 now. Our former champ. I'm going Chris. I said Chris was dead in the water. I like some of his matchups this week. Josh Allen is on fire. He's going to win MVP this year if he keeps this up. So I'm going to take Chris. I'm picking my dad over Valone. Valone uh, having a tough season. And I just think Dean's team is a little bit better than even with McCaffrey on the shelf, having Mason and some other guys. So I'm picking him. Booty, I picked you, man, not just because you're on the pod, but some of the matchups, like we talked about. Taylor has a tough one. Hurts with the receivers injured, so I'm picking Booty to beat Terry. And then I'm obviously picking myself over Otley. Otley texted me earlier this week. He's like, "I'm glad you're finally going to pick me to lose because maybe that means I'll win." So my record on the season picking games is only 8-7. So there's not much stock in there that way, but.
I think some of that is no team is standing out yet, right? I mean, we have a 3-0 team that I'm facing this week, but in terms of points, everyone's really bunched, and it seems like points has really been driven by a team having one big week rather than three big weeks.
Yeah, I would
So,
agree. Well, hey man, I appreciate you doing the pod. It's good for, listen, I get up here and talk all the time, so it's good to get other people's perspectives. We'll have a couple more on later this season. I wish you luck, and
thank you.
we'll have you on again. Welcome to the league.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you having me. This was fun.
All right, guys. Commish out.